How do?
How do?
This young lady is, in fact, we're going to talk to each other. A friend of mine, but obviously I have to introduce you. Just had a little chat. Before we have this little chat, I'm going to let her explain our friends, and then she's going to give you a diagnosis. She's going to tell you what medication she's on. And she's going to tell us a little bit about herself. It might not be a complete story today, but like I said, we know each other really well. We've had long chats. So without further ado, I've always wanted to say that. Without further ado, this is Anita.
Hello.
So if you want to start by just explaining how we know each other.
Yeah. Well, I stalked you.
Can you do the disclaimer for the white bits on my t-shirt?
Yeah, sorry, I do have two dogs that have
Terrorised me.
it's the dog hair that terrorised him, still love him. Yeah, we know each other because I tracked you down, hunted you down. You were a prison warden at Strangeways when my husband was on remand for 9 months.
Yep.
And yeah, eventually got out, but remembered Sam as being one of the good guys, as he called him. And said he really looked after him while he was in Strangeways. And as we walked past WH Smith one day to see your book in the window, so yeah, tracked you down, and then you got reintroduced, reacquainted, and we've never been apart since, have we?
No.
It's been cool.
That's the light-hearted stuff. That's as light as it's going to get, guys. If you hear planes, we are near the airport, but on the whole,
It's quite nice.
at least it doesn't shake.
Yeah. So, my name's Anita Johnson. People know me what I'm married now. It's Anita Spenceley. 45.
You didn't have to say that.
Sorry, yeah.
No, don't apologise to me.
My diagnosis is emotionally unstable personality disorder with anxiety, depression, suicidal ideologies, self-harm, and of latter psychosis to add to the mix.
Full house, that is, at
Full
cards,
house.
I believe.
Yeah. Some days can be very difficult having a full house of cards.
Medication?
On maximum doses of duloxetine, pregabalin 3 times a day, diazepam 4 times a day, sleeping medication, zolpidem, and quetiapine, and then extra drugs on top to help with the release of some of those drugs, shall we say, because it's a heavy load.
It is indeed. We'll talk a bit about more that in a bit. The other thing I need to say is I'm so glad we're having this conversation. We did discuss doing it when you were in a good place.
Yeah, we did.
She phoned me last week. She says I'm in a good place. She's still in a good place now, hence why we're here.
Yeah.
So if you would like to take us back as far as comfortable, love, when you first sort of realised that everything wasn't all good in the hood as it was.
Yeah. So I've had 6 admittances to hospital. 5 of those have been through suicide, various methods, but generally through medication. And I can remember going as far back as knowing that there was something not quite there, not quite right, as young as kind of be about 14, 15. And I looked for things to control at that point, because you know, when your mind's not, you feel not in control.
So right, if we go back to when you're like 14,
Yeah.
and you're thinking, because this is what I always imagine, how you end up, you know, coming into the system at 14. Did you just think you were a teenager? Did you tell anyone you didn't feel right? Did you not know what to expect? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, there wasn't really, like now, obviously there's CAMS, for anybody out there that's struggling with anybody younger, there's CAMs that can help. There wasn't that support around, and I really didn't know what was happening. Nobody talked about anything to do with mental health or self-harm, or ways of
So
kind
you're
of
looking about
controlling yourself.
1990, early
Oh
90s.
yeah. So self-harm really prolific, anything I could get hold of, and being sick. So kind of the
Controlling food and...
yeah. I was so thin. I was 7 stone 2 at 20.
Jesus.
So I was really tiny, but I used to run a lot, so everybody thought it was just a running. They used to call me nappy knickers because me running knickers didn't fit me. They were that baggy at the back. Unfortunately, I don't think I could get one bum cheek in them now, but so yeah, I remember it going back as that far.
So the self-harming, did anyone know, or was it
No.
where you couldn't see?
Yeah, where you can't see. So even now, I don't have. You can't see because obviously I've got them covered up with my tattoos.
Yep.
And it's not because I'm ashamed. I'm not ashamed at all. Let me just put that out there. I'm not ashamed of anything I've done. I'm not ashamed of my past. I'm not ashamed that I've been in hospital so many times. I'm not ashamed that I've committed suicide, and I don't say I tried to commit suicide. I committed suicide. It's just unfortunate that I was found by people that obviously then put me in hospital, and I've got better. Obviously the latter one was 4th of April this year, 2021, where I've just come out. But yeah, no, the self-harm was always on my legs. I don't want to be too graphic, but Stanley knife, air grips, anything I could get hold of, anything really. And the release, I can't explain to you the release of pent up frustration and sadness and hurt that you feel when you do that cut, and that red, it's just like it's almost like a breathing out. That's how it is for me. And obviously many people over the years that I've spoken to, it's very similar for them, but that's what it feels like.
There's popular misconceptions in there that like it's cry for help and attention seeking.
Oh, absolutely.
Sadly in prison a lot of it is attention seeking. However, we're next level now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Not demeaning any self-harm on any level or whatever. On the eating front, was that just another way?
Absolutely.
What I'd like to try and understand is how you decide that you're gonna like not eat properly or purge, or out.
Yeah.
Was that at the same time as your self-harming?
Yeah. So I just wanted to take control over me, and ways that I could do that without anybody kind of knowing or seeing or anything like that was my self-harm and also my eating. So I used to actually save my bus fare money up from walking home or running home, as I did at the time, because obviously I was super fast. I used to go in the indoor market where I lived and buy suppressants, so tablets that obviously were made that once they go inside your body, they absorb the water and the moisture and actually then fill you up, so you don't feel.
Are these herbal? You buy them from Holland and Barrett's?
I was like 14, 15 when I was like doing that, so that obviously I wouldn't put any weight on.
How did you know?
How did I know to do it?
Yeah.
Gosh, I don't know how I knew. I couldn't tell you. I'm 45 now. It's a long time ago.
Yeah. But and the running, were you a competitive runner?
Yes.
Were you a good standard?
I was really good. Yeah, I was on the front cover of Athletics Weekly. So I've run for my country. I was a really good.
So how do you find the energy to run and not eat? And if you're running, I'm presuming you're running in shorts and hiding.
So leggings. Always lycra leggings.
Right, okay.
And I was poorly a lot of the time, but everybody thought it was I'd not got enough iron because I was very thin and because I was running so much, and so there was never nobody ever put 2 and 2 together.
Well, was there not concern?
No.
I don't know, your athletics coach or teacher or...
No. No, nobody had any clue whatsoever until, I would say, the first time I ever went in hospital when I was around just in my 30s. Was the first, yeah.
So you went from 14, 15,
Yeah.
16 years of...
Yeah, just self-harm, controlling myself as much as I could.
Not eating and...
Not eating. And then I stopped the running. I had quite a bad accident, which was, I think, when the medication kind of started, because then I was on like tramadol and things like that for the injuries that I'd sustained, which were quite bad. So I got a taste for the medication, I think, at that point as well.
Was the doctor prescribing them?
Tramadol, yeah, and others. So yeah, I was in my early 20s at that point.
Did you get addicted to them? You know what I mean, don't you?
Yeah, I would say I liked the feeling of the sensation of like being a little bit knocked out, if you like, which is the same feeling that now you can get off diazepam. I'm not addicted to any of my medication. I don't have an addictive personality. I don't drink alcohol. I don't smoke. You know, so
Do you do that for health reasons?
I do that because, unfortunately, I grew up with a dad that was an alcoholic, so I do that so that I'm, you know, I do have a clear head. I will say the 4 attempts with tablets that I made on my own life, I drank a bottle of champagne in celebration.
You told me this the other day.
Yeah, so I used to sip them down with a bottle of pink champagne. The only times I've ever drank to celebrate.
But you did say you did like the champagne.
Yeah, it was. Well, I thought I was going to die, so it was. Yeah, it was an happy ending, so to speak.
Wow.
I know.
When you told me that the other day, you know, I'm just... Yeah, I don't drink. You know, I don't drink. Oh, that's right. But I like champagne with my tablets.
Yeah. It's. I don't know. There's something about that always felt the right thing to do, and then the last admittance in hospital was due to the psychosis, which I experienced. A friend called Sean, little, for those of us who were older, borrower, little tiny person. To me, he's real, absolutely real.
Listen, love, people, I know these things happen. A lot of people find this really hard to understand, won't they? They'll think you're absolutely cuckoo.
Yeah. Oh, he's real. He absolutely is real, and he's nothing like my personality. And I can describe him to you. He's obviously small because he's a little borrower. He's got dark hair. He's got dark eyes. He's tattooed. He's the whites of his eyes out. He has a black jacket on, and he has jeans that look like they've been in the wash. They're all scrunched up.
Yeah.
He's very thin, and he's very extremely aggressive. I remember him asking me to write a note to my doctor to say that he was in control of this situation, and me and him were going to see it to the end, and we were going to end my life
This year.
and we were going to do it. Don't want to go too graphic, but using a suit bag, going to the viaduct in Stockport, taking a bag of my medication, drinking a bottle of champagne, taking all the medication, zipping it up, dialing 999 and going over the top. That's how graphic he is. And he asked me to write this down and give it to my GP. And when I went to pick up the pen, am I allowed to swear?
Of course you can swear.
Yeah. So he basically said in my head, I'm fucking left-handed. So you know that fear that you have when you're a kid, like when you jolt, when somebody shouts at you, or you run into the road and you're trying to press, all you're going to do is press the button, but your mum thinks you're going to run out. It was kind of that fear, that jolt of fear that I had when he was kind of shouting in my head, I'm left-handed, and I literally swapped hands and I carried on writing the letter with my left hand, because he fears me that much, and if I don't do what he tells me to do, he stays around, and he's there for the following day and the following day, and he gets more graphic each day that he's there. And those days are hard, living with those days where you've got that person constantly in control of your mind, of your feelings, of your ability to make sense of life and what's going on. And yeah, it's harrowing is the only way I can describe it to you.
And you took this letter to your GP?
Yeah, I did, yeah. And do you know what? I've never had that GP before. I've spoken to him on the phone, and I couldn't tell you, Sam, what his face looked like. I just, because I was so poorly with this.
Did he take it? Did he take it on board? Did he react?
Yeah. Oh, he wanted me A&E straight away.
Did he?
Yeah. So yeah, and then I got an admittance. So I was, basically, we didn't have any care where I normally stay, but there was some care within the area, so I got put there just for a day and then moved. So
he's not the only character, is he?
no, I have two old ladies, but they are funny. So the good side of that is I love Mary Nightingale, if you're watching. She's fab newsreader, and they like have this little debate sometimes, and they'll go, oh, I do prefer Mary Stewart, and for those of us who are old enough to know who Mary Stewart is.
Yeah,
so they are funny as they are just like two completely different characters to him. I've had them a long time, but I think I've never known that was what psychosis, or being psychotic, if you like.
What do you think it was? I don't mean that in a questioning way. I mean, right, listen, I talk to myself all the time. Steve, when I'm out with him, sometimes I'll stop and look, and he'll just be stood looking at me like, what are you fucking on about? So, did you mention that to someone, or is it just...
No, I just thought that was what everybody was like,
Really?
they're not there all the time. And touch wood, since I started on quetiapine, and this admittance of hospital, I've obviously not heard, more importantly, from Sean. But I've only heard from the two ladies once, so I miss them. But my mum said to me, just phone me and your auntie if you miss them that much. And I will say, like, just to mention kind of family and my mum and stuff, it took my mum about 8 years. She'll probably have her understanding, but kind of the first few times I was admitted, she'd say to me, you're a lovely girl, you're a young girl, you're bright, you're intelligent, you're beautiful, you've got all your life to go ahead, why have you done this, and I think a few times she first that's how she started out, and it must have been absolutely devastating for my family and friends, who I'm close to. But I do say to people, and I've never promised that I will never do it again, and I know that sounds awful, Sam.
I was going to ask you. Obviously, you have your own thoughts on this. So I'm thinking about your mum now. Can you see my eyes?
Oh, yeah. It must be horrible for my mum,
I know what you're saying. Your thoughts, how you're feeling, and the things people say. Mm-hmm. Don't be so stupid. Man up.
Yeah.
And other things, because they care about you.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking that you'd obviously react good with your mum. You wouldn't upset your mum. You'd try and, put her mind at ease or whatever, or say things she wanted to hear. But I'm quite sure, irrespective of what people are saying, you're still very focused on the fact that
you don't want to be here.
Yeah.
It's horrible. You're living in your own head and in your own thoughts, in that world where you've got so much sorrow, but then other people around you looking at you going, you've got everything you want, you've got everything you need, you've got everything. Now, material things don't mean nothing. You can have whatever. It doesn't mean... I will say, and I know many people have said, anxiety, depression, whatever, it has no ability to look at anybody any different just because you've got loads of money, or because you're of a certain age, or it just, if it hits you, and it's horrible living in your head when you feel so poorly, and the only thing that you think is the best thing is just to end your own life, you know. The first sign for me, I guess, is when I cut. So if I know I'm cutting and it just doesn't stop there, then I definitely know that it's going to progress now into something. And I'm 45, you know, now into something more significant.
So if you start cutting, let's just say
Yeah.
you're having a bad day and you start cutting, saying it how it is,
Yeah.
sometimes that's enough.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
However, sometimes
That's not enough.
that's not enough,
No.
and that's when you're saying you think.
Yeah, I'll just take all my meds. So I'll also as well, I will say, caveat to my doctor, I'm only allowed weekly medication, so I only have a script for a week at a time. Now, those people who are like me will be like little hamsters, and will have, you know, and I'm saying it as it is, you know, we'll have
Put 'em
little
away.
stashes. We put them away, we hide them for another day. Because like I said to you, even when I got married to Darren, and I said to him, I can never promise you I will never do this again, you know. They either take that on or not, you know.
It's very matter of fact, isn't it?
It is.
Without being heartless.
Well, this is an illness, you know. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, you know. That it absolutely exists within my head. And every day, you know, today, thank God, you know, I'm having an absolute cracking of a day. You know, tomorrow I could be on my ass.
I know.
Yeah, I can't even get out of bed, I can't shower. At the moment I'm still struggling, I will admit, with going out. We're going out by myself, so if I need anything at the minute, I either will ring my mum and say, will you come with me? So I am trying, but I do need a bit of a chaperone at the minute still. I am still struggling with that.
Can I ask? So, from 15 to like early 30s or whatever, did you have any interventions? Or so there were no doctors, no psychologists, no. That's a long time to sort of cover something up and sort of manage it, is it not?
Yeah. But I'd even say go back as I would put some of it, the control thing, down to the relationship I had obviously with my dad. And my dad was kind of very controlling person, and he actually used to wet the bed from being up to about 14, and that was because I was frightened to get out of bed because he was sore. And they actually, this is how bad it was, they took me to the doctors because I was wetting the bed, and they actually gave me this chart that I used to put on my wall, and if I had a dry night I'd get a gold star, and if I had a wet
At
night,
14?
yeah, if I had a wet night I'd get a black star. Nobody bothered to ask me why this occurred, why it was happening, what was going on. They just, diagnosis done, this is what we'll do, you know.
What?
We'll just give you a chart and we'll mark on it, you know, good days and bad days.
Was it that bad then?
Yeah, it was for me. I mean, obviously I'm not going to go into too much detail because I've got...
Did you have any meds for that, or...?
I did, yeah. I can't remember what they were called, but I did have...
A lot of time they put it down to being a deep sleeper, don't they?
Yeah, so I did have tried all the things that they'd try then, you know, like my mum would wake me up in the night and all that kind of stuff, but really was more about me not wanting to get out of bed.
And did you just grow out of that then?
Yeah, plus we left when I was kind of like 15 and a half, we left, so it was good.
You went with your mum?
Yeah, went with my mum, left my dad, didn't see my dad till I was 30, funnily enough.
And how was that?
Yeah, didn't recognise me, it was quite... I walked in, I went, get the kettle on.
Was it difficult?
He looked at me. Yeah, we never talked about the past, me and my dad, and we never talked about kind of what he put me through, put me and my mum through, should I say. I'm my kid brother.
Did you go and find him?
Yeah, I did.
Was he at the end of his life?
Yeah, nearly. Yeah, at that point, within 6 months of me getting to know him, he got cancer for the first time, and then he got cancer again. About 5 years later, and then sadly it's like 7 years now since my dad passed away.
Do you how again, you know, Tony, that's my dad,
Yeah.
in Ireland somewhere, means nothing to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, early age we were gone. He never.
Yeah.
I remember someone a similar age to me, a friend, who was similar with her dad, said, "Let's go and find him," and I'm like, it's not. It's nothing. It's not even a fleeting.
It sounds horrible, but obviously I had a beautiful baby boy dog, my fur baby Stanley, who I had for 12 years, who I used to talk to about,
I know
how
about
poorly
talking
I
to your
was.
dog.
So for those who are pet lovers, and I probably miss him more than I miss my dad.
I completely understand that.
I know.
I wouldn't even. Again, people might think that of me, but at the end of the day, somebody who's there for you, you're going to care about or whatever,
Yeah,
not somebody, no consequence.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he was I would say a big part of, not all part, but a big part of contributing to, I think, where I am today with meds and stuff and being poorly.
So if we can go to the being admitted to hospital.
Yeah.
Right, you're quite sort of driven, and them times obviously you didn't want to be here.
Mm-hmm.
How do you react or cope, or what is sort of feeling when you wake up and you're still here?
Oh my God, how pissed off. How pissed off am I? I think the three of those times, you wake up and you wake up to like family members and things like that, and I think they must be anxious because they're not sure where it's going to go, with where you're going to wake up or not. And when you wake up, you're so pissed off. It's like, how have I got here? Who found me? Why did they find me? And I've got to go through all this shit again every day of my life to wait till it's possible to do the same shit all over again, if I'm honest.
At the minute, are you in a better place than you've been for a long time? I'm not talking, I mean, the meds working.
The meds are working, yeah. I've had no Sean. I'd say I'm getting good sleep, so definitely sleep is a big factor for people with anxiety, depression.
Of course it is.
So I'm getting good sleep, which is great. Not all the time, but I'd say the majority of the time. Me eating's still a bit dodgy. I think with the meds that I'm on, you just crave crap, which obviously, and you're gonna gain weight. I'm a lot heavier now than I was. So I think a lot of people don't realise they've got this diagnosis, so anxiety or depression or whatever, and they think, oh right, okay, so that's all you've got, and you think, right, you've no idea what the side effects that comes along with all that crap.
We talked about earlier, I'm going to ask you about your meds. Again, people might think, what the fuck, I've sworn now, is he talking about his 2 or 3 weeks on antidepressants?
Nice.
I'll tell you why I'm talking about him. Well, metazapine is not classed as an antidepressant as such, is it? I'll tell you why I'm talking about it, because I remember every single day of the 3 weeks that I took them tablets, how shit I felt. I remember taking a statin for a couple of months. When I stopped taking it, I felt shit on that. I felt shit on the blood pressure medication. I just felt like I was poisoning myself, and it might sound, so I've had very little time, but it's how they make you feel. And I'm thinking, right, first time I've taken this, I feel like shit. For somebody to get used to it and then they increase it, what is it?
Yeah.
Because like you said, you're medicated, so people think,
yeah, she's fine.
Now explain some of the side effects of all this medication.
Well, you're irritable, you're tired, you want to sleep. Sometimes you want to sleep all the time. You're anxious, you uncontrollably sweat. So despite the fact that it's anxiety medication, you still have some of the side effects. So sweating is a big one, which is not nice when you're a lady. Can't go to the loo, can't have a wee properly.
See?
You're not sure whether you can sit on the toilet and you're thinking, have a weed or not. that's how bad it is, and you really have to try. You're thinking something that's a bodily function, that's natural.
Yeah,
You think you'd be able to do it. The aching sometimes, you know, all your joints and everything ache, and I think one of the biggest things is not being able to get out of bed. The motivation, lack of motivation, and you know, that comes along with fatigue and lack of motivation. You've no sex drive, you've no desire also to have a relationship with another human being. You know, you just genuinely, it sounds like somebody who's like, oh, well, you just can't be arsed. You genuinely are like, sometimes if I go to the post box here, I'm thinking, what time of day is it if I see somebody? Because I genuinely can't have interaction with somebody.
What, if I was to take one of your daily doses of meds,
Jesus,
what would it probably do
you'd be
for
on
me?
your ass. Yeah, you would definitely be on your ass.
Would I be?
Oh, you'd be off it. You'd be absolutely off it. Yeah.
I can't imagine. I don't want to.
Especially the quetiapine, which is the night med as well. I take that with a sleeping tablet. After 15 minutes of having the quetiapine, I actually have no recollection of what's happening. So I need to go to bed. And I know the two girls that I was in my last admittance with, I'll just say C and K, they actually had to put me to bed on several occasions, and I've actually got videos of that, and it's not funny. It does look
you
at
showed
the
me,
time.
didn't you?
I did,
you absolutely
they had
look
to
like.
put me to bed because I didn't even know what time of day. I didn't even know where I was.
And that's when you first started taking it.
But it's still,
You
like
couldn't
that now.
handle it. It would just.
Yeah, I mean, I filled in. I go on overdrive when I've had it though at night, and I don't know why, but I start doing admin, like filling in forms and, you know, doing stuff like that. And like I filled in a form this week for Darren, and he texts me like a number that they'd sent him. I don't even remember filling in the form. It's dangerous, man. It's a dangerous drug. You know.
Well, if you think that you're thinking you'll be on them for life.
Yeah. Well.
Then.
I have to have blood tests for quetiapine, and I do have to have regular blood tests anyway. But that's when they
what
can
are they
get
looking
blood
for?
out of me.
Like
just what
anemia and what it's doing to your blood.
What it's doing to your body. So kidneys, liver,
kidney function,
organ,
liver function.
Yeah. So they're looking at all that, because these drugs, you know, that you're taking.
Well, that's the other thing.
Yeah.
You know, the poison.
Yeah, of course
aren't
they do. Yeah, of course they do. You know, but I've never forgot to take them every day, Sam. I know some people that will take medication, and then when they start feeling on a good day, they'll stop taking them.
Sadly,
Oh,
you've seen me talk about this.
That.
Prisoners, you know, they think they're in a good place, they stop taking meds. 10 days.
Yeah.
Emergency admittance.
Exactly.
They just absolutely crash and
Yeah.
burn. Can I ask you, because people might think listening to this that you know, since you started on meds, you never done anything. You were fully functioning, weren't you, up until not a long time ago?
Yeah.
Was it start a lockdown that?
I think so, yeah, because it got to the point where you weren't allowed to go out but wanted to go out, and then you were allowed to go out but couldn't go out because you felt like, what the hell? It was like, I went to get my medication once, my weekly medication, and it was like what I'd describe as like a bloody apocalypse, you know, down the street where normally there's loads of people. I mean, in some respects, for people who were like me, it was all right sometimes because there was nobody about, but at the same time that was weird, you know. So everything was really unnatural. So I would say, yeah, at the start of lockdown it made a massive difference.
But you've always worked, haven't you, up until?
Always worked up till October 2020.
So you were fully
functioning.
What do they call it, or did you just say fully functioning?
I'm a highly functioning mental health patient. Yeah. So, and I've had, you know, I have had some cracking jobs. I have had some jobs with massive responsibility, you know, looking after teams of people with, you know, thousands of people underneath me. I've been on a stage delivering speeches to 800 people in 6 different languages, you know.
How do you do that
know.
if you have any sort of anxiety. It's a normal person.
No.
You know, you've been on these little courses where they make you stand up and introduce yourself to another 16 people, and people see their arse drops out, don't they?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how I functioned. I honestly, a lot of the time as well, I can't remember. So usually before I'm about to have a dip, I lose a couple of days, and I'm not really sure why that happens. You know, I have known in the past where I've actually gone to work for a couple of days, and then, you know, I've unfortunately, for the person that's found me, but I've committed suicide, and I seemed quite rational and quite normal to the person that, or to the people that have seen me a couple of days before, you know, but I don't remember seeing them. I don't remember what I did. Apparently I was sending emails, I've done all sorts, but just have no recollection. It's like when you see robots on TV and they like slowly like zoom, like power down. That's how I feel when I'm getting in that state. Literally parts of me just power down.
Do you continue taking your meds?
Yeah.
So if you feel yourself going, you know, where you think you're going to be cutting or anything else, do you still keep taking your meds?
Yeah, but then the problem is I still keep taking my meds, but I take more meds and more meds and more meds, and I start writing down.
Is that to numb it?
Yeah, because it's like if I've gone to the point where I really don't want to commit suicide, but at the same time I'm trying to like stronghold how bad these feelings are. Yeah, I'll take the meds as normal, but then I'll take more meds to numb it down, and then I start writing down like how much meds I'm taking, and by the time, like, you know, I've been found, you can't even look. It's not even legible what I've written.
Why do you write them down? Is that just, are you
Just-
trying to control it?
Yeah.
So that you're not taking too many?
Yeah, but I can't. It makes no sense anyway. I can't read it. So, but that's my mind just saying, I'm not trying to commit suicide. I'm actually trying to numb these feelings. So I know now when I'm looking like today where I'm in like a 9 out of 10. Whew, you know.
9 out of 10. Woo!
Yeah, you know, that's amazing for me. I've been 9 out of 10 for as long as I can remember. So, you know.
Really?
Yeah, and it's good. It's good I have the support around me. I've got a cracking doctor. I'll mention Dr. Andrews, amazing. Got a mega consultant. He's fantastic. Dr. Saluja and Dr. Khan, who's underneath him, that work with me. And recently now I've been put with a psychologist to kind of start to understand my behaviour. And it's like I'm getting the help that I need at 45, which I think, blimey, if I'd have got, like you said, you know, what happened when you was from that 14 to, CAMS would have existed, or I would have had interventions at those ages, I don't think I would be where I am now, if I'm totally honest.
You won't be where you are, you won't be
sitting here
even though
giving
you're
you
in
a story.
Yeah, you won't be here.
No, as in giving you a story about the fact that I've been in hospital
You'd have had a more normal life.
Yeah,
I don't want to say normal.
Totally true. I genuinely believe that if I had those interventions sooner, that I would.
Is it well? Basically, then you manage your own mental health.
I do.
From the age of like 14 to 33.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How you know, how was it making friends or sort of having relationships, you know? Did you have, you know, at school, the lads I played rugby with, coast mates, some of them you're still mates in your teens, and then, you know, how is it with friends? Did you let anyone in? Did people ever know you properly? Surely other runners and that, you know, was there nobody that cracked on or you told or?
No.
Nobody?
Nobody. Not anyone.
Not your best mates and that?
Nobody. So I think I've still got two, I'd say, best mates from way back, Emma and Sonia, who I've known, God, nearly 40 years, who are like still in my life, and have visited me in hospital. Lee, another friend, visited me in hospital and things like that, and they had absolutely no idea like what was going on in my life. They just knew my dad was really strict and a few things like that, but nobody had any idea I was cut. My mum, no one. I didn't divulge to anybody that I was cutting or I was taking, you know, these like suppressing of your appetite tablets and things like that. Nothing. I was just this. I was a popular kid at school. Obviously, I was in athletics teams. I'd got friends. I should have been an actress because my life, literally up to, you know, the point of being ill, which was like in my 30s, I've always been like total bravado. My best friend now, she can tell when I'm not well because she says I've got like this whole, I go manic, I'm like over the top, you know, with everybody going, oh, life and soul the party, you know. And I think I just did that for a lot of years, was got up in the morning and painted a smile on my face and just got on with it. And then, like I said, over time it just got gradually worse, and the more baggage kind of seemed to pile on, and then I just powered down. And that's how I think the first time happened.
You see, you know, I've never been at your stage. When I've had sort of dark days or whatever, or I think a lot of it with me is like sort of you beat yourself up, you know what I mean? You think you shouldn't feel like this or whatever. However, you know, it's like times 100 how you are. So I don't even know.
I don't have that feeling. Don't beat myself up about not being well. I just go, sorry, fuck it. You know,
Well,
in the fuck it bucket. I'm having a bad
see now
day.
you're very lucid, yeah, and you know I'm just thinking about all the meds you're taking.
Yeah.
You know that you're not
They
sort
stop
of.
you thinking. But I had them this morning way early. So if I have them way early, say wake up in the night, for example, like I say, very rare, but I had the babies in bed with me.
The dogs.
The dogs. So I woke up quite early because Lily wanted a wee, so woke me up. So I had them then. But if I have them, say, when I wake up...
So did you go back to sleep?
Yes.
You took your meds, went back to sleep?
Went back to sleep. But if I have them, say, 10 o'clock, 10 o'clock, you're lucky if I can get my sentences out. I actually sometimes can't remember, you know, if I'm going, oh, God, that thing there, just go and get that thing. And I might be meaning table. And I just can't, my brain can't function with my mouth about what that actually is. And that's shit. When, especially when you're articulate. Yeah. So I set my tablets up for the week. One, so that I know that I've had them. And two, if I'm ill, if I'm poorly, that Darren can actually just pick that up and put it in the safe. We have a safe so that when I'm not well,
so you just
if
get
I
given
do
them.
tell him, they get put away. Whereas, you know, when I am well, I can control my own meds. You know, and that's a really big deal because that's that control thing again. You know, and you have to be ready to say to that person, yeah, I'm good, I can do it myself. So as soon as I get my meds on a Tuesday, get them off Harry at the pharmacist.
So they obviously know you very well.
Oh, they know me very well because I go in weekly, don't I? So.
Have you had any problem on lockdown getting your meds?
Yes.
Have you run out?
Lord.
Have you run out?
Not run out, no, because I've told you I'm a little squirrel.
But you would have run out.
But I would have run out. Yeah. So, I've squirrel meds away. And when I say squirrel meds away, when I've been in hospital, obviously I've been issued medication because systems don't tally up with.
No.
So what I do is just collect them on them days where they would come through. So collect them and then store them, and collect them, then store them, and I could be in hospital for like 2 months. And I've got 2 months worth of meds squirreled away. Well, that's when nobody's controlling me, you know, or nobody has sight of me. You know, obviously I can't get out of hospital all the time because psychiatric ward you're locked in.
I would like to talk a bit about psych hospitals. I think I'm going to stop this camera.
Okay.
It's getting hot like before.
It is,
and
very warm.
Start the other one off. Should we get a brew and then come back and do another bit?
Yeah.
Do you want to say what I do? Do you know what I say?
Well, you normally put Stephen on.
I do on the vlogs, yeah. Or thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
Coming. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, I say that in prison service used to piss people off. You know, if they turned up to help me out.
Yeah.
Because I have a way of saying it, thanks for coming.
Yeah.
And I'll sit there.
I'll sit there. Southern. No, it's northern, northeast. We say
Yorkshire.
See you later.
I'll sit there.
See you later.
I'll sit there.
Our kid.
I'll sit there. Back again. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming.
Get kettle on, lass.